Welcome back, hope you're having a good day. Trying to work on getting this tree to get all in one shot. I just can't do it. So here real quick, I'm just gonna show you guys just how far that goes. Goes up just up to the ceiling. Hard to get all in the picture. Almost decided to go ahead and try to do this video outside, but I'd have to do the video with captions. I don't really like being out there talking with my neighbors, listening, things like that. I got neighbors active out in their yards on all sides of me. And quite honestly, today it's a little bit cold out there. But I am going to get it cut down in a minute. I know probably, I don't know if you guys can see or not, being that it's a black with a black background. I actually have a tire iron shoved into the split there. And that was because this branch was, like this one actually got the one solid leader on it. That other one had plenty of growth, but not really one that was actually a defined leader. This one has a defined leader. And it was going up so much. This one I did do a flat top to when I chopped it. Before I forget, I was going to mention in that other video as well, I think I'm going to have to do these in two parts. They're taking a little bit longer than I thought they were. In hindsight, if I would have thought about it, I would have chopped this thing off way down there if I would have known just how much this was going to grow back and everything. And I don't feel like starting it over or anything like that, so I'm not going to do that now. I would have done the same thing with the other one too. Hindsight's always 20/20. I can always get more and do that with them in the future. But anyway, I did the flat top, and then I took my saw and I just cut right down the middle of it, making a little groove, thinking that I could make a future split one day. And then it took off so much, but it was growing so much, it was healing over the split that I made. And it was kind of covering it up. I mean, you could see where it had split down, and it was covering up not only the saw part, but you could see where it was healing up any place where there was the split in there. So one day I just took and hammered that on down in there. I'm going to have to get that unstuck in a minute, but I'm going to get it trimmed down some more so I get a little bit of a better camera angle for you guys to see and everything. I do have, this thing also got two good sized branches off the sides. I've been having guy wires on them, hoping when I go to finish taking the split off that I can save them both. Again, just trying to avoid having just a big bulge up there at the one spot. I'm going to try to get a couple cuttings off this one too. Taking all the smaller twigs off first. This one you can tell grew a lot more than the one from part one. I was thinking it was just because of the fact it's in a deeper pot. It has a lot more room to grow. And I have it in a lot thicker used soil, if you will, so it was staying a lot wetter than that other one. But I also have it sitting right on the ground, so not only is it not draining off so quick, the other one's sitting on cinder blocks, but also it did get 3 escape routes. When I went to go bring it in right now, I actually had to break it from the ground to get it to come in. And so, at least 3 good reasons why it grew more than the other one did. Alright, because that one has growing tips left on it. That'll definitely be a cutting I try to take. And I'll probably try a couple of these down here too. Even though I am planning on leaving these branches, I am going to trim quite a bit of them off too. Let's see what I can do here. Yeah, now we can get to looking at that scar there. See here where I got that tire iron in there? That's where I started that with the saw. See the healing that it was doing with that good strong leader. And then you can see here at one point the split had actually almost got down to this branch here, and this leader just started even getting some healing tissue way over that way. It's a little bit harder of a tree to move around than that other one is. It's a lot heavier. A lot of work to get it in here and everything. May not be able to show you multiple angles. Let me pull some of these leaves off, might help a little bit. Before I pull it out, I am going to go ahead and just see if I can knock it a little bit further down in there. The idea is I'm going to try to get in here with my saw and cut it right about there. Maybe try to save that branch. I would like to save this leader here. Alright, again, this thing's hard to move around, but I figured I could go ahead and show you. As I've been knocking that thing in there, it finally got the split back to where it was a little bit. It was straight down through where the branch actually is. What I'm going to do now is that split went down to about there, is I'm going to try to score it with my saw right in there. And then that way, you know, when it hits the saw mark there, hopefully it just breaks off there. I think I'd like to stop the split by at least this branch here. Should come right down the edge of that one, since that one had some life coming off of it. It shouldn't break any further than that. And maybe I can save that branch there, although there are two branches coming off the same place. But let's see if I can do this without damaging this one too much. Look at that. And if I hold the saw at that angle, I'm going on under that one. If I come any more that way, you can already see where I've hit that. Just a little bit there. Kind of rough it up a little more here. I am struggling here for sure. With the camera off, I actually took and made another wedge cut and have a wedge taken out of there. And then tried to get both the screwdriver and that tire iron back in here. And really, it didn't budge at all. So I think I'm going to have to go ahead and just sacrifice this branch here. If I leave a little stub, perhaps maybe it'll still grow out of there. Take it off about there where the saw was hitting. And now I should be able to get in here. I'm going to go ahead and just go with that top wedge. Let's see what we can do with that now. There we go. Still tough right here where this was starting to heal around it. It's giving me a ton of resistance there. But I'm also trying to save as much of the live wood from the wound healing as well. If I can see. There we go. And as rough as that looks right now, that'll nearly be perfect. And that's actually, so the wedge was in there and the split was in there. And you can see, just because probably a little bit of water was sitting in there, just a little bit of, kind of, not really rotten yet, just some soft wood. Got all that out. Was able to, the only disappointing part for me was having to cut that off, but I think it'll be all right in the long run. And that right there is where that leader was trying to heal it up, and then that's there, that black part in there, that's the gap that I had. Still giving a little bit of a bulge there, but that's okay. And right in here, that right there is the original chop that I gave it as well. I'm going to try to see if I can get my knob cutters and take as much of that off without getting into the live stuff there too much. Alright, that should go full steam ahead in the spring. Should hopefully finish enveloping some of that. Especially over here, I'm going to take off some more of that edge. Alright, and before I look at the whole thing, give you guys kind of a that is that one branch there. So that's that corner that I left. I think that could probably come off. Not so sure if leaving that bulge there is a good idea, but I am trying to make sure this leader stays alive. And that's a good chunk of what it was there. I think over time, it'll be a bulge that kind of goes away anyhow. Alright, and then take one last look at the whole thing here. See the pot situation a little bit more. Because this pot, I mean, the container is so much deeper than that other one. I actually have it planted a little bit deeper. I was hoping this root would take off and maybe even it would swell up enough to fill in a little. I see it did split along the top. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. Splitting would be a sign of movement, but it would also be a sign of something dying too, so I'm not really sure. And then just from all angles here, that's the wedge that I just took out. This one now, just the way that I have it sitting in here, maybe I can kind of think of a front and a back a little bit better because this is now facing the side. Of course, sometimes eventually the scarred side turns out to be the most interesting one anyway, but here's the one branch that the bigger one that I was able to save right along the edge of that split. And you know, last year when I chopped it and repotted it. So you figure it, I mean, it had just had it root pruned and everything. This year I chopped it, but I'm leaving the roots established. So maybe perhaps even, you know, as spring rolls along through here, it'll even get some more back budding down lower, give me a little bit more taper. As I said, hindsight, I probably would have cut that off just right there at the get-go and everything, but don't want to lose another year of progress. I already have. I think that'll be an interesting little tree here. So I think it'll be nice.